My name is Raina. We spoke on the phone earlier.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So I'm a student at Western Washington University, and I'm taking a class called interviewing, and it's helping me to, well, part of it is that we use a video camera, like we talked about, to record ourselves so that we can kind of see how we interact with people. And so the only people that are going to see this is me and my instructor. And there will be one more person that sees one of the videos that we do. So maybe one other person from my class, but otherwise, other than that, anything that you say to me will remain confidential. However, I am required to be a mandated reporter, which means that if you speak about anything about child abuse or neglect or abuse or neglect of a vulnerable population such as elder adults, I would have to report that, but I don't suspect that there would be any of that going on today, so just so that you're aware of that. Did you have any questions?
No, I understand.
Okay. And so it sounded like you had something on your mind, so if you wanted to.
I do.
Okay.
I am.
Do you mind if I take notes?
No.
Okay.
It's fine. I understand. I have to do that all the time, otherwise I can't remember stuff.
Right.
I'm becoming the elder population.
Right. Agreed, me too.
So I'm in the Human Services program at Western Washington University, the Everett site.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a little bit of background. Kind of doing things backwards. So I went to school a long time ago. I was in the graphic design field. Then I had children. I dropped out of that field. It was too much of a rat race. They got to be ready to go back to school, both of them in school. We needed money. I needed to go back to work, and you know the timing was about right because they were going to be in school. And so I happened upon a job in the human services field called a guardian ad litem. I did that for about 14 years. I really, really liked working with foster youth. I was an advocate for foster youth. I'm kind of brushing over this quickly. But my agency closed. My boss retired, closed the agency. My job went away. And so then I was at almost 50 years old. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I want to keep doing this work. I can't do it anymore. So then I decided, okay, I also needed a job because I had bills to pay. If I don't get a job, I'm going to go back to school. So I didn't get a job right away. It was surprising to me how I could not get even a foot in the door because I didn't have the right educational background, even though I had 14 years of experience. So I got an idea in my head that I'm going to align my education with my years of experience, which seemed weird to me. It's like, I've been doing it. Why is 4 years in the classroom better than actually doing it for 14 years? But whatever. So I went to, I had to establish residency at Everett Community College in order to be allowed to be in Western's program locally. I could have just jumped right in up at Bellingham, but that's an hour and a half commute.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I needed 20 more credits. So I did that. I actually got a couple temporary jobs in the interim and began the Human Services program last fall. So come to find out, I could graduate at the end of this quarter.
Okay.
So this spring. With a multidisciplinary degree is what I was told. I had no idea that this was even a possibility. I just found this out a couple weeks ago. And I guess the degree it would be, you have this degree, but it's an emphasis on graphic design and human services.
Okay.
So it'd be a bachelor's degree with these two areas, and I'm like, my dilemma is basically in a nutshell, do I do that or do I continue with this program? I'm really torn because even though I wish I'd done this a long time ago, I think I'm benefiting a lot from this program at this time in my life because I have some of that life experience that the material that I'm learning, what I'm learning is really, it makes sense to me.
Yes.
You know? I don't think it would have been nearly as helpful the first time I went to school.
Mhm.
I just didn't have the maturity or the insight
Mhm.
at that time. So, and I really like the program. I'm learning a lot. I like my cohorts,
Mhm.
my instructors, but it's really expensive.
Right.
I'm paying out of pocket, and I had to pay $300 in books this quarter. So you're talking, what was it, about 22 for a quarter, and then so like $2,500 a quarter.
Mhm.
That's a huge amount of money. So
It is.
I could potentially not have to pay that for the next
Mhm.
year. But then I'm thinking, not only am I getting all this, is having this other degree really is beneficial, because I don't do graphic design anymore. I haven't done it for 16 years now.
Mhm.
And I kind of fizzled out as the kids were later, when they were young and I was at home. I got out of that for a reason. So would that really be that beneficial? It would just be a degree, but would it? It's so old.
Right.
Technology has moved on.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm really wrestling with that. I'm really
Yeah.
torn.
Well, it sounds like you want to stay in the human services portion of it,
Mhm.
and it sounds like you've at least come up with a list of pros and cons
Mhm.
for, but and it sounds like you're benefiting from the human services program. But the cons is that it's very, very expensive, especially if you're paying as you go. So I think it really comes down to, do you want to stay in the job that you have now?
Well, there's another kicker. Because I started working at the YWCA middle of December, and I kind of had it in my head that if I like it, great. If I don't like it, I'll be done spring 2018,
Right.
and then I can, go somewhere with all the experience there and all the skills that I've learned. But now, because of this internship program, they created a whole special little job for me
Right.
to meet that requirement, which is cool, because I probably wouldn't have had that opportunity had I not been required to do this internship. But so it's like they're making me into special roles, which sort of indicates that I feel an obligation, I guess, because if I'm going to be this new job that nobody's ever done before, and then I go, okay, great, that's kind of going to burn some bridges. That might not be a very smart move for me career-wise, so I should probably stay there a while, which I would be there the same amount of time anyway.
Right. Well, I'm thinking, if this isn't really the population that you want to work with, maybe sticking with the degree and finishing the human services degree might be to your benefit. But if you really like where you're working and feel like you have enough connections there to go somewhere else, I'm sure you could get a positive recommendation, but being able to be connected to find something else, it sounds like you have passion for children, foster children, and if you wanted to get back into that, the human services degree would probably look better than a multidisciplinary degree, but some employers don't care as long as it has a bachelor's of something attached to your name. So,
I haven't really had an in-depth conversation with my husband about it, because he doesn't really understand what all of this is anyway.
Right.
And he's like, he'll want to know.
Right.
And for me, it's part an emotional, I don't know, an emotional decision. Part of it is the benefit that I'm getting. Like I envision our little group that we become close and go getting our diplomas together as a group. I would miss out on that. But logically you would say, well, $2,500 a quarter, is it really worth it? And I get that.
That's a big deal.
It is. Yeah. It is, because we've got stuff that needs to be repaired, and expenses. Two adult children in college right now. So
the other thing I would say that the human service program might offer you, if you continue going with it, is since there are more opportunities for internships, if you were to take an internship outside of your job, where it sounds like you're doing the internship there now, you might get your foot in the door somewhere else also. Whereas if you just take the degree and go, you don't have to pay the $2,500, every quarter, but you may not be able to build those connections as
Right.
easy. So,
Right.
but $2,500 for another 3 more quarters,
Mhm.
that's $7,500 just for tuition. That's not even including the books. So, that does make a big difference.
Wow.
So,
It's a daunting decision.
right.
I am getting a lot out of the program. It's just, is it worth the monetary output?
Right.
And will I get it back?
Would you be willing to apply for scholarships, or would that help you out
I
some?
applied for FAFSA.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. You would think with 3 out of 4 people in college that we would
Oh, wow.
get something.
Right.
We're eligible for loans.
What about,
Woohoo.
right. What about just the actual human services scholarships?
I'm looking into some stuff. I'm not sure. I'm looking into it. And I have an appointment with my academic advisors, so
That sounds like a great start.
I have to make a decision soon. I think you have to have the application in by May 5th to graduate at the end of spring
Okay.
quarter, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So,
Well, I don't think this is I can't provide you any long-term solutions, but I hope that, some of the things that I said may cause you to think further or have a starting point of a conversation with your husband. So,
yeah, I appreciate the brainstorming, just the
Sure.
out loud talking about it. I know ultimately it's my decision, but,
Yep.
but it's helpful to talk about it, so thank you.
yes. Well, it was nice to meet you,
You too.
and thank you very much for helping me with my assignment.
Well, thank you.